I think we're both in like pretty big glow up eras.
Oh, this is the biggest glow up I've had.
You're ahead of me for sure, but I'm
physically
just starting
and
to
emotionally
get out of
getting into that. Like, it's wild when you finally come into like sanity and you're like, oh, I'm actually a pretty decent person. You know what I mean? Like, I'm actually like the second the Zoloft hit, I almost became an asshole. Where I was like, no, I'm like. You're like, I am more interesting than your average guy. Like, pound for pound. Not even trying to be like, I'm this crazy narcissistic guy. But, like, especially on dates, I'm like, you got nothing on. Like, a guy that just works in tech and his parents loved him and he, like, golfs sometimes. Like, what is that? If you were a TV show, I wouldn't sit through the theme song. You know what I mean? And I'm like, my dad's crazy. My mom's deaf. I had to claw my way in and out of poverty and mental illness. I'm like, fucking got the whole first gen angle going on. I speak 3 languages. Like, you're going to slide off the chair by the time I'm done talking.
Oh, dude, I have that sometimes. Like, with other girls, you're like, oh, you don't have enough mental illness in your family to be, like, great in bed. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's
you know what
true.
I mean? I'm not like, I might not be like turning heads across the bar, but buddy, we've been dodging the bullets of fucking OCD and schizophrenia, and the only space left is on top of a dick. Like, it does, you just need enough bad things to happen to you that you're like, I'll fuck like my life depends on it.
Oh, you'll throw down, which I do. Again, I when I have sex, it's like I feel like I am. Just like in my real life, I'm just this underrated, out-of-work artist. And it's like you finally gave me a show, and I'm like, I'm showing up, baby. I'm listening to Eminem's, like, fucking, like, this is the moment, Mom Spaghetti. And and it's like, dude, I will fucking, like, again,
no, dude,
it's like
I'll fuck a guy like it's an audition at a club.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm like, we're going to be a regular.
I will eat your pussy like it's the last meal that I'll have. And then...
like I'm about to be executed.
Like, yeah, and it's like people just don't, like, especially, you know, out of shape guy, smaller dick. It's like when people learn how to, like paint with their feet and shit. Like, I'm just very good with all my others. Like my fingers and tongue. Like, at this point, I'm pretty sure I could get myself into a bank vault with my tongue.
It's so funny. It really does, like, the, like, low... I'm like, oh, people... I was, like, the fat girl as a kid, but now it's like, yeah, but I'll suck a dick. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
it
yeah.
pays off.
Oh, it does.
Like...
I think legally the world would be a better place. If
So
I was
sad.
president, here's what I would do. Every kid mandated is fat growing up. Every kid needs to be fat. You are like born and you're just eating KFC, like not
You're
chubby.
the opposite of,
like opposite of fucking Barack Obama's wife, like Michelle. I'm talking like fucking KFC.
You're doing the reverse Michelle Obama, where you're like, move, eat your vegetables. Or like, I will make every kid in America a fat piece of shit so they have something to overcome.
That's what it is. That's what it is. And then when you're 16, it's like a mandated, like, fucking you're working out, you eat healthy because first off, you get hot, like, with a vengeance. Like, it's a different type of, like, wanting to be hot. Like, other people are like, oh, I mean, and you're like, no, you're in the gym running to, like, because you're out of spite. You're like, you have, like, made-up enemies in your head who you're trying to prove something against. And then once you are hot, you appreciate it. You're not just like some hot people I know,
That is true.
where they just float through life and they're just like, oh my god, and and they're just kind of these. You're like, no, you appreciate it. You're a kinder, gentler soul. It does, I think, makes you a better person because you know
it is what you
like.
want. You want to be everyone. You should want to be hot on the outside and fat on the inside.
Yes, that is the perfect combo because hot. And then hot on the inside, you're like, you don't appreciate it. It's like a kid born into wealth. But it's like the fat kid who becomes hot, he like knows what it's like to not be able to take his shirt off without just feeling bad about himself, without bumming people out at a pool party. So he's just like, when you finally are hot, you're like, I worked for this. This is great. And you walk around the world with kindness and appreciation. And this is why I would do it. This is why your kids would be like on an IV of Bojangles gravy if I was president.
I yield the rest of my time.
Yeah.
The other guy's like, okay, I was going to talk about tax reform.
Yeah, they're like, how did he get up here? Why is he here? How did he?
No, this is the man that could beat Donald Trump.
I would.
Because you need to appeal to
I
base
think I
emotions.
would. If I ran for president, I think I could win. And I don't even think that's a narcissistic statement anymore. I think kind of anybody could. What Trump made us realize is the average American public, they just care if you're like good in a conversation. And it's like, that's all I've been doing.
To be president, you do just have to be like a good hang now.
Yeah.
And it's like,
that's it.
Bro, comics can be a good hang. Like,
yeah.
The only thing I know how to do professionally is hang.
I'm a good hang. That's not even me gassing myself up. That's a skill that I've worked on for 9 years. Is good hanging.
Literally, I've tried to be pretty good at stand up, but most of this, my 10,000 hours, is hanging with the boys.
Hanging with the boys. I'm a black belt in hangs.
You and me, presidential duo. We should build our platform right now.
Yeah, this is it. And you think
I think I gotta be VP because who's gonna go for? Well, okay, interesting question. Who do you think the American public would go for more? Because I am a woman, and that knocks me down a few pegs. But also, the country is very racist.
Country's very racist.
Is it more racist than it is sexist?
Anyway, that's a real genuine question. I would say yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
I would say yeah. I would say that it is because I don't think. Yeah, there isn't like photos of women in cages anywhere besides Pornhub, and that's sort of like there isn't like the American
but you
public.
You have a stronger. I think you have a stronger presence than me in a lot of ways. Like I think you could be the backbone of this movement, and I'm like cheerleader.
Yeah. You'll definitely be like the Elizabeth Warren. Like you're gonna have a lot of like solid facts and quips. But I'll try to take a Papa Bernie's vibe of like just telling him like, and we wouldn't even have to talk.
When you
policy.
come out,
hey, I'm recording a podcast, dogs. Have some fucking respect. Making $25 on Patreon, you fucking sons of bitches.
Anyway, I could be the next president of the United States. Dogs barking in the background.
That would do it. That would. Oh, this is. Hey. So, I think, because Donald Trump would just be like, he's a loser, and some, like, feckless... Okay, this is... I'm going to walk over. I'm going to have to walk over if these dogs don't shut up in a sec. But,
It's so funny. I think we should leave it in.
I think, we should. Speaking of dogs, I was doing a show the other day at a brewery, and we were talking about this country, and I love dogs much as the next person. White people are a little out of control, because this person was like, this dog was at the table... eating off a regular plate in the brewery.
And I'll say too.
And let me finish my thought.
Okay.
I think that if white people were shown photos of dogs being treated the way humans are in ICE detention camps, they would raid the Capitol again. That would horrify. They would burn that building down to the ground for sure.
I mean, I know dogs that are on Prozac.
I've looked after cats that are on Prozac, and I've looked after cats that have better medical care than I do.
I was gonna say too that like, I wonder if this is a thing in the South in particular, but that is a very specific thing. Is a North Carolina brewery that is dog friendly that also does comedy for some reason. But the amount of times I've been doing stand up in a brewery and there's dogs hanging out. With like a bandana on is insane.
I do stand up almost exclusively in front of dogs as well now. Like they're everywhere. No, I think that is at other places. Breweries in general, as soon as the whites are chilling, the dogs are out. They have to make it home. They're like they make it their living room basically. It's like we might as well just have like photos of your lame kids on a fishing trip,
That's really funny. That's what would make white people riot.
I do think so.
What is the thing of treating a dog like a baby though? Because it is like a
like I love dogs and I cuddle with them and they're cute, but like the plate at the public place is a little goddamn much because this is
was it a plate? Did they put dog food on the plate or
it was human food?
They ordered
the
from
dog
the restaurant.
Was eating a hot dog. Dog was eating a hot dog.
That can't be good for the dog.
No, it's also probably very ill-advised for the dog. Yeah.
People just let their dog like take shit like a fucking tank.
Well, to be fair, if they are dog, like that's more dog behavior. Where it's like they are like they. I've seen them eat like raw meat and shit. Like they're in the wild. Like they're fucking. ready to go. This black lab
Was it a
over
big
here.
dog?
It was a wiener dog. Made it even weirder.
Oh, I was picturing like a fucking German Shepherd.
No,
like-
it was a wiener dog. Eating a
yeah,
hot dog off a table.
Oh.
It was pretty cute. I'm not gonna lie, but it was still absurd. It looked like a cartoon.
I love wiener dogs so much, though.
And I was
Why
like,
is
what are
their
we going to
belly
do?
so
Start
low?
having them drink a beer? Like, I kind of thought, I was like, what is happening at this point? Like, is the dog going to have to pay taxes? What's going on? He was just sitting like an upstanding citizen at this bar.
It's a social security number.
Yeah, it was wild.
God damn. Do you think are you going to get a pet when you move to New York?
No, because I'm just too busy. I think it'd be unfair to whatever pet I had. Like, it's just like, I mean, I work from home during the day, so I do have like that time. But it's like I'm out at night a lot, and I don't want to have like whenever like right now I'm dog sitting. There's like, you know, it's good because it keeps you in check, but it's like now I'm always worried about like what about these things, and I'm like I don't want that until like I have to have that.
Dude, and dogs are a lot.
Dogs are a lot. You got it.
The
Yeah.
rabbits are like, I can leave them alone and just watch them on like the pet cam for
Yeah.
like, I got their food on an auto feeder. It has made me like an engineer because I had to learn like how to optimize everything so that my room is like a self-sustaining ecosystem without me for like 2 days.
That is hilarious. You have to make like the eco pod. Like if you've ever seen Silent Running, they have like these it's like this movie.
What's Silent Running?
One thing my dad did was he showed me all these like cool movies from the 70s, and one was like it's a movie where they have these like basically the world is a dystopian hell and the environment's been destroyed. Crazy fantasy, and there's a spaceship with all the remaining ecosystems like in little pods, and then the corporation's like, it's too much money, so we're gonna fucking one by one put these pods off and explode them, and then the guy basically like, because he like. Him and these like little robots that take care of the ecosystem, he like basically self-ejects the ecosystem off the spaceship and blows up the regular spaceship like full of people, and he's just hanging out. Yeah, it's just him and nature, like God intended, and a little cute robot that waters
space.
flowers. It's a pretty pure movie. I think my dad liked it my dad really liked movies with miserable men. Like what? I have a memory of my dad in his underwear rewatching Groundhog's Day like 100 times. Like he would just watch Groundhog's Day over and over again.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
To Groundhog's Day yourself with that movie.
With that movie of about a man stuck in a day that's like every day, and I'm like, I wonder if my dad likes this movie. And I watched it. It was like on the other day in this hotel I was in, and I was like, oh, this is clearly a guy like hates his life. Oh, I'm stuck in this shit.
Dude.
Every day is the same. And he's like, I feel Bill Murray. I wish love could unlock me from this monotonous hell, just like while your wife and kids are hanging out.
I was gonna say, yeah, the day that you have every day is that your kids are in the corner like, Dad, I'm on a loop.
Yeah. It's so funny now that I think back to like all these like miserable men movies that I'm like, oh.
Maybe your dad wasn't even schizophrenic. He was like just ignoring you, and he was like, there's a voice in my head. And it's like, that's your son.
Oh my God. Yeah, there's these weird voices that are like, where are you? Please hug me. And he's just like, yeah, they just don't stop. They take some pills or something.
People are after me. Yeah, for child support.
It's so fucking funny. Oh my God.
Dude.
Speaking of, I don't know, what were you saying?
No, go ahead.
Oh, speaking of mental illness, I had a psych appointment the other day because I had to get my meds refilled. You ever do bits in those? Not well advised, but I did.
No.
I did. Just
What's your bit? I will say, no, my therapist and we joke because I've known her for like 10 years now, and it's like
we start.
She can make jokes that cut me so deep.
Oh,
because
my
it's
therapist.
just like
When I found out,
my darkest.
When I found out, like I got the apartment, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna move to New York. This apartment's all set up. She's like, all we need to do is just get you to the plane before you meet a woman. All we have to do is just get you. She was like, close your eyes on the train. Like, don't.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I could go to not a funny therapist because I'm like, I do need you to like roast me a little bit because that's the only way I know how to get snapped out of my own neuroses. I mean, that's the point of the podcast, truly.
Yeah, no, it's just slapping each other back into sanity.
But sorry, you were saying the bits with the psychiatrist.
So psychiatrists, they ask you a lot of like pretty insane questions like your first time.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, do you see things that aren't there? And I was like, nah. Wait, what's that UFO being doing piloted by my ex-girlfriend?
That's so fucking... Did she laugh?
Yeah, because I had already established like that I was sane and stuff. But I did like a pause.
Dude, that's
and
so
I
funny.
looked like I pushed the camera away.
That's so funny, dude. Wait, is this a new psychiatrist?
Well, I have to, basically the way the laws work now that COVID's no longer considered a health emergency is some medications can only be prescribed in the same state you are. So my old person in Chicago can't prescribe me any more meds, so I had to see somebody to get refills on stuff while I'm still here, and then in New York I'll have to do it again.
Damn.
Mm-hmm. But it's okay because they're gonna give me enough here that it'll last me for
To
a
like
while.
hold you over?
Yeah. Yeah.
Damn,
I
dude.
told them to sitch. But it is kind of, you ever appreciate when they ask you all these questions? It's like, oh, you have like suicidal thoughts and your stuff, and you're like, the old me, like 7 months ago. You know what I mean? I'm a new goddamn man. Not even a little bit. As long as you keep it coming.
Damn. I was sorry. I zoned out because I was thinking about like that there is something like kind of weirdly nice about like so weird, but I like being like interviewed by them.
Oh yeah. No,
Do you know what I mean?
It kind of feels like because it does sort of feel like almost like you're in an interrogation room, and it's like when I'm not crazy, I'm like, you ain't got nothing on me. You know what I mean? I'm like, you ain't
Poke
got
around,
shit.
bitch. I'm happy.
Yeah. I was like, you ain't got shit. I ain't talking. You know what I mean? Like, I got no. You can't. I'm in possession
Shining a
of no
light
black
in your
and white
eyes,
thoughts.
like
Yeah.
we're gonna make you talk. Name 3 good qualities about yourself.
I love my eyes. God damn it. Yeah, like it's fucking. Yeah, I do a little bit too, because then they'll always be like, wait, holy shit. I remember she's like, yeah, so comedy must have been kind of healing. And I'm like, yeah, a little bit. And then I was like, joking, I'm like, until I was like, oh, wait a minute, comedy isn't my therapy. I need actual fucking therapy.
Do you feel like it's changed your relationship with comedy at all, being like more mentally healthy? Well, we talked about it a little bit.
100%, but only in good ways, because I don't, comedy is just like a fun thing I do. Comedy is like it's not the essence of like my self-worth, where I think before, and I was younger, it literally was it was like the set didn't bomb, KENYON the human being bombed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I no longer feel like that. Like it's like if a set sometimes I think it's like really funny. Like sometimes I'm like, I'll be laughing about how bad that's going and like disappointing a group of people. And it's like, then I just fixed the joke. Like, who gives a shit? Oh,
Yeah.
I'll just say different statements. Like, who cares? You know what I mean? I've fixed myself as a person. You know, it's like if I never did stand up again, I'd still be like a worthwhile human being. Like, those are two different things. So I think it makes you better at comedy because A, you're less anxious about it. B, you're not, you take more risks because you're not like, it's not like, oh my God, then if I bomb, then this pit of self-hatred is gonna fucking open inside. It's like if I bomb, then I bomb doing it. Like it's like if I was building a shed and I like fucked up building a shed. It's like I can just build a new part.
It's a separate activity from you, but it
Yeah.
also like I think the thing about taking risks is so true because like I've noticed since I've gotten more like whatever gone up on my Prozac and just like kind of fixed I was in like a dark place for like a year and a half when I first moved here and I'm like getting out of it, and it's like you're willing to take more risks because I'm willing to look like ugly or stupid on stage because that is funny.
That's
it is
funny.
to be like a bumbling fat man, but I was so like I was like, oh, I want people to perceive me as whatever. Like I really needed that.
I was anxious.
So you're
yeah,
trying to be like cool or pretty, and it's like that's not really funny. Like I don't think you have to seek out being ugly, but you do have to like let yourself look stupid. Like that is a lot of times part of comedy is like, I mean, maybe depending on your persona, but it's like I was watching a set where I was like doing jokes about like being overweight and stuff, But the way I was standing, it was just like my stomach was sticking out, and I was like, "That's so funny." I'm like a funny little guy, and if you don't like need the like to be hot in that moment, it is like it serves it well to not need to like protect your ego.
100%. Yeah,
that's funny to look like Winnie the Pooh.
That is hilarious.
That's so funny.
And it's also like Mike's not like appearance based, but just like bigger risks with like crowd work or jokes, and if it fails, it fails. It's like whatever, you know what I mean? It's like it's. Yeah, that's. And I didn't have that before. I was like, well, then if I bomb, well, then I'll hate myself. It's like I'll hate that set. I'm not gonna hate myself.
I think we have different core insecurities, but that maybe manifest like similarly.
Yeah, I definitely was not a fan of my appearance. Thought I was like an unlovable, unfuckable guy. But like I think for me the core insecurity is more that I'm like horrific, not good at anything, like an idiot, and so I would be more afraid of just publicly failing at a thing, particularly the at one point in time the thing that I was best at, or the thing I put the most effort into. That's more terrifying than like looking like shit.
Yeah, for mine, I'm like I think my core insecurity is kind of around appearance, but in the way of like, I think this is like a very female thing, but the thing of being like the fat girl, and not even because of the appearance thing of it, but because of the failure of it, because of the implication that you're like naive or weak or like cowardly, and that's why you.
But that's the bravest thing to do as a woman.
Is to be fat.
It's to be fat.
God damn it, that's so funny.
Because you have like a free pass at an easier life, and you're just like, fuck you, I'm floating on my personality, bitch. You're like, that's the easiest
so
thing to do.
That's so fucking funny.
That's it, yeah.
That's so funny.
People are like, that is brave to be like, because it's like, you know that life is objectively harder for you, and it is voluntary. And you're like, no, I'm going to eat these tater tots, and I will pay for my own drink, thank you very much. I don't give a shit. That's brave.
That's so fucking funny.
You're gonna have to be judged by the merit of your hang, and not the content of your bra.
That's so funny. That is the only reason that like that's not as much of it. I mean, like obviously I'm not like some fucking like I know I have like things to work on about myself, but I'm pretty like confident in that like I like who I am as a person, and then I'm like, I think I'm like a fun hanging night, because I'm like, if I wasn't, then men would literally not like. I'm like, I know that's the thing carrying the fucking ship, so I'm like, we're good on that part. But then it almost feels like, as a woman, when you're like, it's almost like running with ankle weights on, where you're like, if I wanted to at any time, I could take off the fucking like resistance brakes that we have on. Yeah. I almost want to get, and I like how I look now. Like I am like comfortable with myself. But if we're talking about like conventionally attractive, like thin, whatever, I'm like, I almost want to do that just for the bit, like out of curiosity, to be like, wouldn't it be funny? I think that's the only way I'm gonna know how to like be like have like a kind of like slutty phase. Is it has to be like for a bit.
Yeah, well, that's its own psychotic weird. That's kind of weird.
I'm joking, you know what I mean?
The only way I could be healthier is if it was for a bit. And I was like, okay, what if the bit was you didn't die when you were 60? What if the bit is you have both your feet your whole life? But like, isn't that a wacky little make 'em up? That's a real knee slapper.
No, but do you know what I'm saying? Where it's like, but that is kind of what I'm talking about. It's exactly what you're saying. If you're like, just to see. Because if you're like, I need to do this for my self-worth and blah, 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 it's so much pressure that you just go, I'm a piece of shit or whatever. But it's just like, but to do it just to be like, what would happen? Wouldn't that be funny if I was like...
This goes back to my original point. You get fat to work on the hang muscles, okay? And then once you got a six-pack and hanging, once you are fucking stacked, once you are just swole and hanging, that's when the hotness comes. And so this is the Kenyon course. Like, people are like, man, alpha, whatever. This is my course. Be a fat loser. for the first 20 years of your life. Be like go through some real misery. Get addicted to heroin. Beat that, okay? Get fat. Almost die to your fat. Beat that. And then get hot. You are going to wipe everyone else's, like, they are gonna, the guy that's been hot his whole life and has never had any problems, he's got nothing on you. A guy with a six-pack who has defeated demons, both physically and emotionally, he is not nervous about anything. He remembers what it's like to hate his own body. He was 3 years ago, he had his own vomit pouring out of his mouth, and the Narcan in the neck, and then you get right out of there, you go to the gym. Because you know how easy, it really isn't that hard. We always like, oh, losing weight's so hard. It's like, put the Doritos down and run around and go like this, and then it'll happen. It's not that fucking hard, really.
Yeah.
It's just, but what makes it easier is if you have to defeat objectively hard things. You know what I mean?
Yeah, if you've gone through something harder, then it's like, the fuck is food? Like,
yeah, fucking food ain't shit. You ain't gonna you're not breaking down seizures if you don't eat cookies. Like, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? So that's part of the play. And so you getting out, it would be like, not the whatever, but like,
I know.
Yeah. But like, Maddie, and so, but if you got like supermodel status, think about. I'm not trying to stereotype here. Generally not the greatest of hangs, right? Like, I'm sure there's some fun ones, but like sometimes people, like, I'm talking across the board, hot people, usually some boring hangs. So, but if you come in, fucking, you throw that eating disorder demon off. Oh, you are wrecking them because you're like, I'm funny
kind of like,
and I'm hot. I am basically a demigod. Like, you cannot fuck around in this space.
No, I'm like, that is the missing piece of the I'm like, good fucking luck after that, dude.
Oh, you're done.
Because, like, good fucking luck.
You're done. You'll, like, roast dudes that are trying to hit on you, and their brain will explode. They're like, they will not understand.
And when you do that as, like, a chubby girl, it's kind of like, oh, it's funny. If you do that as a hot girl,
you will make men kill themselves. Yeah, men will, like, actually jump off a bridge. If a supermodel is just destroying me,
it's done.
It's
done.
You have to. This is what I said.
Let me mark today.
I said this pre-pod didn't make it on the pod, but this is part of, again, the Kenyon. This goes for all genders. Be the Walter White one who knocks. Be the one who breaks hearts. Take the role, all the people that hurt you in your life. Don't do anything crazy, but I'm saying have some self-worth and be the one that doesn't text back, goddammit. You will take their place. And they got nothing on you.
I'm marking today on the calendar. It's July 21st. Today is the day I enroll in the Kenyon Adamczyk School of Not Giving a Shit, okay?
It's what it is, dude. Yeah, because you already got it down. Like, it's like, it doesn't matter. And that's like the stage of social development I'm in. It's like, got my mom my house in COVID after my fucking grandpa died. I've been through this. My dad's crazy. You got nothing on me. Oh, you're not going to text me back? Oh, you're not going to book me on your show? I don't care. It's a miracle I'm breathing. You got nothing on me, dude. So it doesn't.
And we're both like late bloomers for sure. That's fair to say, right? Like, hyper developed in some ways, but then late bloomers in other ways, and definitely like sexually dating, confidence, whatever. Sure. But that means that you're going through that awakening, like both of us, with like adult confidence and skills.
1,000%.
Like, I'm having my first like casual. I've had one night stands and stuff, but now that I'm really like, let me seriously start dating. I'm like, I'm not in college. I'm like about to be 25, so it's like, you're coming in guns a-blazing.
Oh, I'm 26. I'm looking to impregnate a rich woman and save the fam. I'll parasite a motherfucker out here. You think I'm kidding? My brother's teaching your fucking uncle art lessons. It's all happening, dude. I'm for sure coming.
Goddamn. Dude, should we hop over to the Patreon? We're at a half hour.
Let's hop over at the page.
See you on the Patreon.